from a small loan to a multi-billion-dollar empire, this is the extraordinary story of Aliko Dangote, Africa's greatest industrial titan and richest man. Born on April 10, 1957 in Kano, Nigeria, Aliko Dangote didn't start from nothing, but he started hungry. He came from the legendary Dangote family, one of West Africa's most prosperous trading dynasties. His grandfather, Sanusi Dangote, was a renowned caravan trader who built his fortune long before modern commerce existed. That entrepreneurial DNA was woven into Dangote's very being from birth. But family legacy alone doesn't create billionaires, it creates opportunity. What Dangote did with that opportunity changed Africa forever. Even as a child, Dangote showed signs of exceptional business thinking. At just 8 years old, his grandfather gave him pocket money, a small amount that most children would spend on candy or toys. Instead, Dangote bought sweets in bulk and employed other children to sell them for profit. While other kids played, he was learning the fundamental principles of commerce: buy low, sell high, and use other people's effort to scale your vision. This wasn't luck, this was instinct. Dangote pursued formal education at Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt, where he studied business. Cairo was perfect for him, a city of commerce, strategy, and continental thinking. He absorbed everything, understanding that education would give him the language and frameworks to match his natural instincts. In 1977, at just 20 years old, Dangote borrowed $3,000 from his uncle, Usman Dangote. This was a pivotal moment. He could have asked for millions given his family's wealth. Instead, he took a loan. Why? Because entrepreneurs who borrow money are forced to be disciplined. They can't waste capital. They can't make careless decisions. Every dollar has to count. With that $3,000, Aliko Dangote launched into commodity trading. He bought rice, sugar, flour, cement, and other bulk materials. He moved fast, learned the supply chains, understood where shortages existed, and filled those gaps. His trading business grew rapidly because he didn't just move products, he studied markets with surgical precision. By 1981, Dangote formalized his empire by founding Dangote Nigeria Limited. The company initially focused on importing essential commodities across West Africa. But here's where Dangote's genius emerged. While other traders were content to import and resell, Dangote asked himself a different question: why import when we could manufacture? This insight changed everything. He recognized that Nigeria, and indeed all of Africa, had a massive appetite for locally manufactured goods. The continent was growing, urbanizing, and building infrastructure. Cement was desperately needed. Sugar refining capacity was limited. Flour milling couldn't keep up with demand. These weren't niche markets. They were continental necessities. In the late 1980s and 90s, Dangote made his boldest move yet. He founded Dangote Cement, entering direct competition with Lafarge, a French multinational cement giant with over a century of experience, global supply chains, and billions in resources. On paper, it looked like David versus Goliath. In reality, it was a masterclass in local advantage and relentless execution. Dangote invested heavily in state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities. He built cement plants strategically across Nigeria, understanding that logistics and proximity to markets were everything. He hired talented engineers and managers. He invested in technology and quality control. And crucially, he understood his customers in ways that foreign companies never could. Dangote Cement didn't just survive, it thrived. Within 2 decades, it became one of Africa's largest cement producers, dominating markets across West and East Africa. His factories weren't just profitable, they were marvels of African industrial capability, proving that the continent could manufacture world-class products. But cement was only the beginning. The Dangote Group expanded systematically into sugar refining with Dangote Sugar Refinery, becoming Nigeria's largest sugar producer. He moved into flour milling, salt production, noodles manufacturing, and more. Each business followed the same formula: identify a continental need, invest in manufacturing capacity, execute relentlessly, and dominate the market. By the 2000s, the Dangote Group had presence in 17 African countries. Tens of thousands of people worked directly for his companies. Hundreds of thousands more benefited from his supply chains and distribution networks. His factories weren't just generating profits, they were transforming African economies, creating jobs, developing skills, and building industrial capacity across the continent. The numbers tell the story. Dangote's net worth exceeded $12 billion, making him not just Nigeria's richest man, but Africa's richest person. His companies generated billions in annual revenue. His tax contributions funded schools, roads, and infrastructure across Africa. But here's what separates Dangote from mere wealth accumulators. He never forgot where he came from. He established the Aliko Dangote Foundation, dedicating significant resources to education, health, and nutrition across Africa. He funded scholarships for thousands of African students. He invested in malaria prevention, nutrition programs for children, and healthcare infrastructure. Dangote's journey wasn't without challenges. He faced currency fluctuations, political instability, infrastructure limitations, and intense competition. African manufacturing is harder than it sounds. Power supply is unreliable. Transportation networks are underdeveloped. Regulatory environments shift. Yet Dangote persisted, adapted, and thrived where others failed. What's the deeper lesson in Aliko Dangote's story? It's that Africa doesn't need to wait for the world to build its future. Africans can build it themselves. Dangote proved that an African entrepreneur, armed with vision, discipline, and relentless execution, could build industrial empires that compete globally without leaving the continent. He chose to manufacture in Africa, employ Africans, serve African markets, and reinvest profits back into African growth. He could have taken his wealth elsewhere. Instead, he bet on Africa when many were still skeptical. From 8-year-old Aliko selling sweets for profit to billionaire Aliko building cement factories across 17 nations, his story is the blueprint for African industrial renaissance. It's a reminder that poverty and limitation are often temporary conditions, not permanent destinations. With the right mindset, the right strategy, and relentless execution, anyone can build an empire. Aliko Dangote transformed from a young trader with $3,000 into the architect of Africa's industrial future. His legacy will inspire generations of African entrepreneurs to dream bigger, build bolder, and believe in the infinite potential of our continent.